Camera rolling, sound speeding, action 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's do this. Hello, my name is Gloria. I live in Geneva, Switzerland, and I invite you into my world, into my daily habits. Hello, my name is Gloria. I live in Geneva, Switzerland, and I invite you to discover my world. I invite you to discover my first French creative writing workshop that was held at the House of Rousseau and Literature in Geneva's Old Town. What do I want to share with you? Last weekend, that's the 8th and the 9th of November 2025, I had a great experience learning to write, because I have always wanted to write a novel, because I love words, I love writing, I love to look up the meanings of words, I love to read the dictionary like a novel, I love to play with words, I love to play with the meaning of words. I have always loved to write, but this time round I thought to myself that I would love to explore this world of writing. So I was lucky enough to find a creative writing workshop last weekend in Geneva. It was a writing workshop organized over 2 half days. So the workshop started on Saturday 8th November and ended on Sunday 9th November 2025 from 1:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on both days. Wait, let me grab the program of the workshop. Let me grab the program of the workshop. Let's see whether I can still grab the program of the workshop. I should have got that ready. Okay, there it is. So I don't know whether you'll be able to see it, but this was the program, and this is where so élange du quotidien. So the workshop was in French, and it says that élange is like we give praise to the daily habits. It was a creative writing workshop with Gaël Joss from 1:30 to 5:30 on Saturday 8th and 9th, Sunday 9th November. So this is the program. I don't know whether you see it. Okay, so let me carry on. So I have grabbed the program of the workshop. This creative writing workshop was led by a writer-author, Gaël Joss, and was held at the House of Rousseau and Literature in Geneva's Old Town. This I already said. And then really I would advise you that if you would like to learn how to write, or you would like to begin to write, but for whatever reason, whether it's uncertainty, fear, anxiety, sometimes I don't know what, I would advise you to start your writing journey through or with a creative writing workshop like I did. My experience was great. It was the first time I had ever participated or signed up for such a for a creative writing workshop, and I was really happy with the results. We were a group of 13 participants or learners. There was only one man amongst us, surrounded by 12 women. That's telling, right? Why is it that women seem to make time for such activities? Why was there just one man who was interested in attending a creative writing workshop, and there were 12 women who did? So that's interesting, you know. And additionally, we were so lucky to have a confirmed, experienced author to lead this workshop. This was someone who had actually written a book, and her book is on sale, or you can find her book on sale at the Payot bookshop in Geneva. This was a female author with a lot of writing experience behind her. There is which was concrete proof of evidence that this woman had what it took to lead this creative writing workshop. Hence, she certainly knew what she was talking about. It is true that as this was my first time at a creative writing workshop, so I went to this workshop with an open mind to learn what I could, and learning I did. I learned a lot. I will try to look for my notebook. I have it right here in front of me, to try to describe my experience at this creative writing workshop. Give me the time to look for my notebook, and I'll come back to you. So I do have my notebook in front of me. So now that I have my notebook, I'll try to describe what transpired at the workshop. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. The first exercise or assignment the author Gaël Joss gave us to do, or made us to do, if that is said. The first assignment that the author gave us to do was to pick a book, any book in French, where she asked each participant to pick one word from the book. So after the book had been passed around to every participant to pick a word at random, then the author drew up a list from the 13 different words. After the author drew up a list of 13 different words, one put forward by each participant. So in the end, she had 13 words on her list, and these were the words each of the participants had chosen: euphoric, strength, boat, quickly, pregnant, nanny, rays, as in rays of the sunshine, soap up, as in wash up, storm, infusion, revenue, as in salary, cottage, and passage. So then she gave us, the author writer Gaël Joss gave us 30 minutes to come up with a text or story using every one of these 13 words. The text could be a poem, a dialogue, a prose, or one sentence that had all the third words employed or used in it. So it was funny that after this exercise, after the time given to do this exercise had run up, one of the participants used all the 13 words in one single sentence. So you can imagine how long and complex that one sentence was. So now I'll read to you the story that I wrote using all the 13 words on the list. So here is my story where I use all the 13 words. My story does not have a title yet because I didn't find the time to write one. So I'll read it to you. I'll read to you what I wrote using all 13 words. So now this is the story that I came up with using the 13 words. So just to remind you, the 13 words were euphoric, strength, empty, boat, pregnant, nanny, raise, soap down, soap up, storm, infusion, salary, cottage, passage, before empty. Okay, so anyway, so let me read my story, the story that I came up with using all 13 words on the list. I am in front of the small boat, ready to climb on board to take up my first job or assignment as a nanny. According to the information that I received, this family lives in a cottage. The lady of the house, meaning the mother, is pregnant. So she already has 2 other children, 2 boys, full of energy and strength. A little bit too much for her, I guess. She needs reinforcement, and that is me. That is my role. The lady of the house, meaning the mother, is pregnant. She already has 2 other children, 2 young boys full of energy and strength. A little bit too much for her, I suppose. She needs reinforcement, and that is me. That is my role, her reinforcement. It's difficult to describe how I feel right now. A little sad for leaving my own home and my own children to look after the children of others, but at the same time a little euphoric for being able to live something else or something different. But at the same time, as a mother, I also feel empty inside. I feel guilty, nevertheless, to leave my own children at home to go to earn a bit of money at another home. I feel guilty, nevertheless, to leave my own children at home and to go to earn a bit of money at another home. But this is only temporary. This will only be for the next 6 months, to allow the lady of the house to have a bit of rest and some months of quiet or peace with her newborn. There are rays of sunshine out there. Is this a good sign after yesterday's storm? As soon as I arrive at the house, the first thing I plan to do is, after the initial greetings and all, is to prepare myself a hot herbal tea, and to quickly slip into the shower to soap me up, so as to bring relief, calm to my tired body. So this was my version using all the 13 words, and so this was the text I came up with. And of course I was very surprised at the outcome of the result, because I didn't know in such a short space of time I would be able to come up with a sentence that made sense. Voila. So that was my text using all the 13 words on the list. And the author who led the workshop commented on the work of each participant after each reading. And when she got to my turn, she said to me, "Gloria, your story is almost finished." And so what I will try to do afterwards is to continue to work on this story or text to produce a finished work or story. So this was to give you an idea of how the workshop went, to give you the motivation to go and find out for yourself what you're capable of writing when you put your heart and mind to it. Because that was my very first writing workshop in French, and as an English speaker I can say that this creative writing workshop was a roaring success. It was a great exercise or experience that I recommend to everyone to try out. So why don't you look for a creative writing workshop in your locality or your area where you live to discover your talent of writing. From what I took away from the workshop, I understood that we are all writers, or we can all be writers, or that we can all become writers, because we all have our individual and personal stories from the images and words that go through our minds and thoughts daily. So instead of keeping all these images and thoughts that crisscross, your mind every day, why don't you transfer or transport all these images and thoughts into words on paper with pen to eventually write a story? So why not do like me? Grab a notebook and pen and write down on paper and with a pen all the thoughts and images you see going through your mind, your head. So that was the first lesson that I took away from the workshop. So if you want to see what comes next, then you will have to follow me to find out how you could start your own journey of writing at your own pace and in your own time, to become a writer or author of a book or novel. So this is the experience at my first creative writing workshop in French at the House of Rousseau and Literature in Geneva's Old Town in Switzerland. Tomorrow I'll share with you, or in the next session, because it may not be tomorrow exactly, but in the next session when I come here on my channel to talk about my takeaways from my very first creative writing workshop in French, I'll share with you the other ideas I learned from the workshop. I would like to hold this discussion in French, but now, as you know, I will translate whatever I discuss in French first into English to improve my French. It helps me to communicate more confidently in French. It helps me to not only to speak good French, but to think in French and to speak more confidently in French to you and to others. So these are my first impressions of my first creative writing workshop in French that I attended on Saturday, 8th November and Sunday, 9th November 2025, organized by the House of Rousseau and Literature and led by the writer Gaël Josse. So if you are interested in following my creative writing story to become an author or writer myself, then follow me on my socials, or my social and media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I think this could be a good time to bring this conversation to an end, or to stop rambling. So concerning my creative writing journey, I'll continue to tell my story in French, and then afterwards I'll translate it in English like I'm doing right now, because my first creative writing workshop was in French. So this is the English translation of my video on my first creative writing workshop in French that you can find on my social media channel on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. The goal of this creative writing journey is to write or come out with my first book. And if you would like to follow my creative writing journey, then my next goal is to see you come out with your own creative writings or book. So why don't you then decide? Why don't you then decide to become your own author or writer of a book in your own voice and of your own personal and individual story? So if you are interested, let's discover the talent, skill, and gift that we all have within us to write. Let's explore how we can use words to write our own stories. So follow me on this journey to see how I force myself to write a book that I hope to share with you one day. So let's meet at my next session, where I continue sharing my first impressions on my first creative writing workshop in French. And until then, do enjoy your good health, and yes, and do try to develop your talent and gifts, and pursue your passions and your dreams. And I know that it's never too late to start. It's never too late to pursue a dream, no matter how old you are, whatever stage in your life that you're in. The important thing is just to start. And so yes, pursue your dreams, pursue your passions, and all the things that you always wanted to do, but for whatever reason you have not been able to pursue it. And if you have the time now, because the time is always now, it's not tomorrow, and it's not yesterday, because yesterday is already gone, it's past, and there's nothing we can do about anything in the past, but there's everything we can do in the present. And we don't hold or have the future, so we cannot guarantee doing things in the future. So we might as well do it now, today, when we do have the time. So I hope to see you in my next video story, continuing on this particular video, and telling you about what I learned from my first French creative writing workshop. So I will end it now. Bye for now, and see you in the next one. Bye.